I'm loving it. Right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast, episode 50. And today's look like it's just me and Andre.
Damn.
Andre, how you
I,
doing, man?
I feel like such a consolation prize there. It's just me and Andre.
Oh man.
No, I was just messing around, but it's been good. I mean, gaming has had some odd twists and turns this week, but it's been good. It's
Yep. So
entertaining to watch.
that is very true. So we want to welcome y'all to our TED Talk this week. Title of the video.
TED
So
TEDx talk.
yeah, TEDx Talk. So so first things first. I don't know if y'all know this, but Netflix revealed that Sonic Prime is coming in 2022, a new 3D animated show. Will it be good though? That's the question. So, Andre, take it away.
Well, I mean, the Sonic what's with the
Boom.
bullshit?
Was
Yeah,
it?
Sonic Boom. The cartoon was good.
Yeah. It
The
was just
game's not so much, but
yeah.
the
Yeah.
cartoon was good.
Oh jeez, that
But
game.
I'm like, y'all went the name Sonic Prime. Y'all couldn't have thought, let's instead of going to Netflix, let's hit Amazon. Because Amazon Prime, we're coming out with Sonic Prime. We could use it as a name thing on this service. It almost sells itself very well.
I didn't think about that, but you make a very good point. I did not even think about that. I really didn't. Um,
But I mean, chances are, if you got the same people that worked on the Sonic Boom cartoon behind Sonic Prime,
it might work.
I could see it working. Or if they have somebody that worked on like the Saturday morning cartoon Sonic or Sonic Underground, if they
Mhm.
get any of those people, they probably gonna have a good product.
Well, I'm holding my breath because the Sonic shows like the games are hit and miss for me. Boom, like I said, Boom was not bad. Boom was just weird. It was in a weird place for me, but Boom was not bad. Sonic X was like
Mm. It's because they tried too much to
it was too
slip
many
the
different
game.
things.
They
Yeah,
put too much of the game into that cartoon. Well, that anime because it wasn't a
yeah.
cartoon. It was anime. They put too much of the game into the anime and not enough of the stuff from the game that made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And then you got a whole character and a family and the storyline for them that just doesn't apply to anything in the games.
It
A
doesn't
lot of
make
stuff
sense.
just got thrown back and forth, and that
Yeah.
didn't really mesh together.
It was kind of like they liked Sonic Adventure 2, but then they also liked Sonic Underground. But then they also liked the original Sonic, the one from like 80, what was it? 92 or
I think
93,
it
the
was 90.
first one.
I think it was either 90 or 92,
Yeah.
91, 92, somewhere in that
Yeah.
area. Because it was right after, I think it was right after Sonic 2 came out that started.
Yeah, because it was right around the time that little hour-long movie dropped, the one with Metal Sonic in it.
See, that movie was good though.
Yeah, the movie was good. I'm just saying, like, but the movie wasn't bad. Like, the movie got freaking dark, but
Yeah, it
yeah,
got violent.
yeah. But like it had that art style of that movie, and that was the first show. So it kind of like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Even though I have to give them credit when they did animate like the fights and the racing on the
Oh yeah,
anime,
they
it
did
was
really good.
dope. It was dope. Like the animation department knew what they was doing. It was just the story was all jacked up. So
Yeah, that story was everywhere.
yeah, so I don't know how to feel about this. I have to give Netflix credit though. They do have some good anime. They still a little bit behind Hulu though, but they do have some good anime, good cartoons.
Well,
So we'll see.
this is the thing I didn't think of. Is it going to be following the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, or is it going to be completely separate?
This is completely separate because the movie is
Oh,
separate from them. Yeah.
see, that's another lost opportunity. See, they could have started like a mini series for leading into the next movie, but
Andre, everybody ain't Disney Plus.
ain't gotta be Disney Plus to know about continuity and how it works.
Disney Plus is the only people that's doing it right, aka WandaVision. So I'm just saying. Also, if you haven't started watching, please check out the fresh take that me and Vicky from Fangirl Review do. We've got the first four episodes up for review. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with it because, like I said, Sonic is usually hit and miss. So it depends on what the target is. Or are they gonna go, like you said, the underground route, try to make it toward like the close to the older kid teen crowd, or are they gonna try to
if
keep it
if
the Y
if
seven
they
crowd?
if they really want Sonic to do well, then yeah, they need to shoot for like a young, like late childhood to early teen audience,
Yeah,
because that's what
that's what the
Sonic has
character was supposed to
technically
be.
always been. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what he's always been
he was supposed to be like what the 14-year-old. That's what he was supposed to have been basically,
in that
because
age range. Yeah,
he was supposed to be where Mario was kiddie. He was supposed to be the rebellious teenager,
yeah.
essentially. So there's that. Now, on the Google Stadia front, I promise I'm not making fun of them. Now that I've said that,
Not
uh,
directly.
so Google Stadia closed their first party studio last week, according to reports. Now, my question is, are they done? Is Google Stadia going to be done after this? I don't think so. But the problem is, and I think we've said this before on the podcast, they shouldn't have came out until they had something concrete, at least 2, 3 games that was ready to go that were theirs on their own. They did not do that. They went the we got all these third party games that you could play in 4K and possibly 8K. They kept saying 8K, which I like stopped saying that. But I'm like,
They have not released anything 8K either.
no, they had yeah. That's I was gonna say something. I'm gonna be nice, but um, the thing is, they didn't have anything of their own that you could only get on Stadia. So the question is, why in the world did you close your first party studio? One, um, and two, are you trying to save money? Because I hope y'all not doing this like y'all did Hangouts on Air and Google Plus and all the stuff that people like get used to, and then what, it's not working out for us no more. We don't like it. Bye. Or when the person who championed Google Plus and all those stuff goes to another company, that's when y'all decide to drop it. Just saying. I'm like, this ain't one of them situations you should probably do that, because I think Google Stadia could work. I just think the main problem was they didn't really explain it well at first or at all. Um,
Their biggest problem was that they decided to throw together this service that had no physical hardware to it that would allow people to. There's nothing to anchor it to.
yeah,
You got Chromecast, big whoop.
yeah, and and you can buy TVs with Chromecast already installed, so there's
Yeah,
no.
nothing. There's nothing really to anchor it. Like if they went, even if they just did like a cheap little box, like a physical, like a cheap little console, and you have no way to back up any of your games. You can't do anything with it. There's no way to back anything you have up. So if that service just closes down, you lose everything, anything that you spent money into. So the best bet for using Stadia is to literally just use it to stream.
Yeah, and
There's
on
no
top of
reason
that,
to buy anything,
and like you and I said, you took out Hangouts on Air,
which would have
which
worked really well since they wanted people to be able to join streams that were already ongoing. So if you saw somebody streaming on YouTube and they were playing a game and it was on your account, you could just jump in. They took that away. Instead of expanding it, they just killed it.
yeah, but they got Google Meet.
That doesn't even have half the features.
Yeah, so I'm like, what the um. They made a lot of mistakes with that Stadia because of the simple fact, like I said, they got rid of Google Plus. They had their own social media platform. Should have got rid of it. Hangouts on there. That's what you would use to stream. Because we were using Hangouts on there for gamers at large.
Mm-hmm. And we're using Google Plus to set up the meetings.
Yeah, all of the stuff that we were using, I'm sitting up here like, wait a minute. y'all gonna release an actual gaming solution with none of the stuff that could have helped it. That makes literally no sense.
Yeah, they could have left Google Plus intact.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they didn't want people to use it for free, they could have either set it up to allow ads.
hmm
I don't think
Where
too
you
many
didn't
people
have a
would have cared.
choice. Yeah, where you wouldn't have had a choice. But I don't think, like you said, nobody would have cared
Nobody
at
would
that
care.
point.
They would just scroll past the ads. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Or if you want to set Stadia up and you don't want people using Google Plus for free, bundle it in with Stadia.
Yeah.
That would have been a selling point for a lot of people. Bundling in Google Plus with Stadia.
Yep.
A lot of
I,
people would have bought into it.
I probably would have bought into it because I miss Google Plus. I'm not even gonna lie. I miss Google Plus.
I miss Google Plus just as much as I miss Miiverse.
Yeah. Damn you, Nintendo. So I I think that was like a big miscalculation on Google's part, and I think now it's kind of came back to bite them because of the simple fact that now you don't have something that could actually help with your gaming solution. I mean, I that was just a bad take all around.
Well, and they were planning Stadia before they closed down Google Plus and before
Well,
they
they had
killed
to.
Hangouts on air.
Yeah.
No, they had said it like what was it? I think it was like a year before they decided that they were going to close Hangouts on air. They had started talking about getting into the gaming market outside of mobile.
That
And then
was
that's another thing. Google Play does not tie into Google Stadia. So it's like you have
it's a
your
whole
achievement
nother.
system doesn't tie into it.
Yep.
You got rid of your social media platform that could have tied into it. You got
hmm
rid of the live streaming service that could have tied into it.
hmm
And then you just launched it and got rid of your first party studio. So what else is there left for it other than third party developers with games that you can get other places and that will be guaranteed to play more stably on someone's home hardware than over stream?
Because if you don't live by any of those data centers, I feel for you. I feel for you if you don't live by any of those data centers.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you're
know what to
not
say.
within close proximity of them, you are going to get crappy service.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, I live close to one, but I think about other people because like when I go home back to Southwest Georgia, there ain't no Google data center nowhere near there.
Mm-mm.
I think the closest one is in Jacksonville. I think, unless they put one in Tallahassee, which I don't know about if they did, but
Still not a good idea either way.
still not. Yeah, so I'm like, nah, because I had a friend of mine ask me, she was like, should I get Stadia or Game Pass? I'm like, girl, just stay with Game Pass.
At that
Just stay
point,
with Game
Game
Pass.
Pass is the better service.
Yeah, just stay with Game Pass. That's a better service. No knock on Google Stadia if you like it or not, but where my hometown is, where she lives, it's best for her to just stay with Game Pass. That's just
Yep.
being honest. Because unless you living in like a city or somewhere close to those data centers, there is no point. So
Mm-mm.
they made a lot of miscalculations, and I think that it. And another thing too, I think people just weren't buying into it because if you can't explain it better, ask Nintendo about it. They didn't explain Wii U. They didn't, and that's just the truth. They did not.
They didn't
So
explain it well, or
yeah.
well, I can't even say they didn't explain it well. They didn't explain it well at the right time.
hmm You have to explain it, especially when you're doing your preview to the world. You have to explain it well. And Stadia, I saw both of those Stadia Connects. They were not good, and they did not
Mm-mm.
explain nothing. They kept touting features and talking about 8K, and this kept saying, uh, you know, trigger words, and I'm just like, dude, this means nothing to me. What you're saying, you're not explaining what this is, and you damn sure didn't explain the pricing, how stuff because there was games you could buy, but it's all streaming, so you had to pay $9.95, and then so how does this work? you know,
See, I know what they meant to say, but what they meant to say is not how it turned out. Because I know for a fact you can just buy games and play them on the service if you don't pay into the service itself. But at the same time, it's like, why would I buy the games if I can just pay for a month and play whatever I feel like playing and then be done with it?
So you're trying to do Game Pass, and I don't know what you're trying to do here.
And on top of that, you have no way to back up anything that you got from the service.
Yeah. So
Once the service goes under, you are done.
yep. So it was a good idea in theory, in my opinion, but in like some ideas look good on paper. I mean, some
Yeah.
of them do, but
They had all the components that they needed to make it a success before they even announced what it was.
yeah.
And then when they announced what it was and what they had planned to do with it, I was like, but you just got rid of everything that you had in place that would have
Already,
already worked for this.
that was working for years, by the way. Straight up years. Like a lot of your users was using this to help your YouTube. I know your YouTube numbers skyrocketed because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people started doing podcasting with Hangouts on air.
Yep. Oh, they had definitely, if that was what got them so close to overtaking Twitch for live streaming.
Yeah.
And for some reason they just didn't understand that. I'm like, I don't know how you don't understand this, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still find it crazy. I still find it really just I'm like sometimes I this is why I don't like suits running stuff because half the time they run businesses and don't understand the business they running.
Nope.
Like it's cool to like, okay, yeah, we're gonna run this, but then you can tell the difference between an Iwata running Nintendo and a Sean Layden running PS4, running Sony. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference between a Phil Spencer and a Don Matrick.
Oh yeah.
If you want to go, you can tell the difference because there is a difference between somebody who's he's on top, but he actually came through the business through the actual business, and you have somebody who I'm a numbers guy. I run finances. I handle the stock market. Those guys, you can tell the difference between those guys. That's Activision.
Oh yeah.
Activision. Oh, and EA and CD Projekt Red. So let's go on to CD Projekt Red. So, um,
I knew that was coming.
so this I found this article on purexbox.com, and it was the Ori director is pretty much pissed at Fable and Cyberpunk 2077 as well as No Man's Sky creators, calling them snake oil salesmen because they promise stuff and don't deliver. And their games get the critical praise and all of that, but if you actually go and play the game, it ain't what they said it was.
But here's the caveat to that. At least the Ori games are good games.
Yeah.
Fable teeters that line.
Yeah. Fable does.
Cyberpunk, I've heard it's a good game if you have a PC that can run it.
Everything
No
else.
Man's Sky was completely empty promises. Everything about that game was an empty promise.
I mean, the thing that pissed me off about No Man's Sky was we had like 2 years, like 6 different videos of the same video with just different people coming out from the development team, not saying a damn thing about that game.
They're talking, but not really telling you anything.
Yeah, and people like praising it, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, but what's the game about?
What's the purpose?
Oh, but you can go to this planet, and that planet.
Oh, okay.
What's the game about?
Why?
Yeah.
Why am I going to these planets? Why am I exploring this stuff? Why am I gathering these resources?
Now, if you want to say Minecraft in space, okay, say Minecraft in space. But if you don't say nothing like that, if you don't say anything because you don't know yourself, Mr. Game Developer, then why? I digress. Now, I did hear that gotten substantially better since they went multi-plat. They went on Xbox and PC now, so it's not a Sony
Well, no, it was
exclusive.
already on PC.
It was already on PC. Well, I've heard it gotten better. I don't know. I never played it. I said I wasn't gonna play it because like you're not gonna sit up here and get me to buy a game and you ain't tell me what the game is. I don't buy games if you don't tell me what the game is. I'm sorry. I gotta have a point to it. I'm like even MMOs like or partial MMOs like Destiny and the Division. You know what you're doing. You know the point of the game.
Yep.
You know they don't just be like, oh yeah, well you're a space wizard. Go like they don't do that.
Like so, Star Wars.
Yeah, see, so stuff like that. Now, I agree with the Ori director on that, but here's the problem with CD Projekt Red, and I think people, rightfully so, have a reason to get angry. But once again, this is one of those situations where who's really at fault? Is it CD Projekt Red or is it the gamers? Because number one, they tried to push the game back. If people remember, they did delay it.
They
Once.
did put it out that they were trying to push it back because they were having issues.
And people was like, "No, I want the game now. I want it now." Then when it comes out, you mad. You don't want to open your mouth.
That's
Now,
true.
the other thing about that too is they're not a private. They're a publicly traded company, which means they answer to a board of directors. The board of directors don't give a damn that you're a gamer. They think you're a nerd. They hate you.
That's about as far as they leave it.
Yeah, they don't like you. They make fun of you. They laugh at you. Now buy the game.
Yep.
They don't care, and that's why I'm saying this because people still don't understand. Yes, gaming has become more popular, but it's still very niche, and people still look down upon because you game. Like hell, if anybody saw that Joe Budden podcast with the women on it, you realize, yeah, gaming ain't really as mainstream as you think it is. It kind of is. It kind of ain't. Because people still look down on people that game, even though there are a lot of people that there are people with making 6 and 7 figures that game. But and you want to know why they game? Because it's a way for them to unwind.
Stress relief.
Yeah, it's a stress relief. Some people use it as a stress relief. They use it as it's a hobby. But some people don't get that. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. I promise I won't gonna get mad. But
look, it's just a thing that somebody does that they enjoy, and people don't understand it. I'm like, simple as that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, are they people that they abuse it? Of course, there's people that abuse everything.
Yeah.
They're just you're gonna have people like that, but gaming is still very, very niche, whether you want to believe it or not. So, yeah, has it gotten better since the '90s? Yeah. Is it still? Are you still looked down upon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hell, some of the people we've done podcasts with have full on families, and they're gamers. But you got people who don't know that'll tell them that they losers for being gamers. I'm
Or
like,
people that'll run their mouth like, "Oh, what grown man is sleeping with women if he plays video games?" I'm like, I remember responding to that dude. I'm like, quite often, but it doesn't really make a difference if you play video games or not.
yeah, that has nothing to do with that, bro. It really has nothing to do with
That's
that.
kind of depending on you as a person.
Yeah, bro. Sound like somebody ain't got no game.
That would be him himself, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, cause I've heard some women who love the game in their life, and they give rave reviews. That's all I'm gonna say. So that being said,
I'm not going to touch that subject.
hey man, sometimes it has to be said because people have the wrong idea. I'll
I'm
leave
just
it at
saying
that.
I'm not touching that subject because I can go too deep into it. So I'm just leaving that one alone. I'm going to leave that one alone completely.
So that being said, I mean, yeah, I get it. So I get why people are upset about the whole CD Projekt Red thing, but I'm not. I'm still not. I'm kind of mad at them, but I'm kind of not because I understand the game. I understand. In the words of Tyrion Lannister, I understand how this game is played. So I understand how the game is played. So I'm like, okay, I get it. their mistake was they went public. Once they went public, I'm like, bro, that's whoo. There's benefits to that, and there is non-benefits to that, and they found out the hard way. So
The benefit was that they got more money coming in. The con to it,
yep.
they have a board to answer to that don't give a damn about the products that they put out.
And don't give a damn about the fans neither. All I know is I better have a damn bonus check come December. That's all I know. And that's pretty much how that works. I mean, I know people are probably not going to understand that, but that's how that works, honestly. So let's go on to some more depressing news. So Nintendo, allegedly, this is all allegedly. We don't know if this is true or not. I think it is, but apparently Netflix did have a Star Fox claymation show and a Legend of Zelda live action series that was going to start production at Netflix, but Nintendo canceled it due to leaks. I'm saying this allegedly. So due to leaks, that's how they got canceled. Now, I was talking to Andre before we started. I did not want to see a Star Fox claymation show.
No one
I
did.
want that anime that you dropped.
Everybody wants a production IG anime.
Yeah. I don't care if it's 15 minutes an episode. That's what I want. You ain't gonna tease me with that and then give me a claymation show. Yeah, y'all did the right thing by canceling that. I'm sorry, that nobody wanted that. That was gonna blow up in your face big time. I don't care how good it was. People gonna be like, "You think people was mad about Wind Waker?"
Oh yeah.
You think people was mad about Wind Waker? You haven't seen anger if that would have came out. Now, the Legend of Zelda thing, I'm torn because y'all know I'm a Legend of Zelda fanboy. So I know it can work in live action. The problem is, I think they probably they would have came out better animating it first, because I don't know how how do you do this? So do you do a 10 episode series a season? So do you do Ocarina of Time for season 1? Do you do Ocarina of Time first and do Child, and then season 2 do Adult, and then season 3 you do Wind Waker, then season 4 you do Skyward Sword, then season 5 you do Majora's Mask, season 6. Is that how you do that?
Too much stuff. It's too much stuff.
Or do you just Lord of the Rings it and do 3 Legend of Zelda movies? I mean,
either one of those could work, but if they were going to do just like a live action show, then it would have to fit the theming of stuff like Hercules or Xena and stuff back from way back then.
Yeah, like what was the other one? Beast. I think it was Beastmaster. Was the other one? Yeah, the other show like that.
Yeah, it would have to fit like that, and that's a lot of CG work.
Yeah,
a lot of money has to go into that, and that would take a crap ton of time. Actually, it would be the same for a movie.
Yeah,
so larger scale.
In my opinion, you're better off just letting the anime studio handle, letting the anime house handle it. Yep. Let people get used to it, so the people that don't game, the casual Netflix binger, give them something to watch. Because unlike Fire Emblem, you can get away with PG-13, PG to PG-13 Legend of Zelda. You can get away with that.
You definitely could.
Fire Emblem, you kind of can't, because that story gets like you gonna probably go from TV-14 to mature, because them themes go from like 0 to 60 just that fast.
That would have to start off as a mature series, whether people would realize that or not.
I mean, it's literally Game of Thrones.
Action.
It's literally Game of Thrones.
Well, Game of Thrones is Fire Emblem as a TV show.
Basically, yeah. I mean, if you go and buy the stories and the lore, if you play a Fire Emblem game, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is some Game of Thrones ish. Yeah. Yeah. I still to this day don't understand how they get E10 ratings.
Because a lot of it's animated, it's cartoony, it's easy to cut. You can cut people without cutting them. There's no blood.
That's true. Well, I mean, there is. Never mind. I'm not gonna say nothing about
depending on the game. There's no blood.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing about the dragon situation. So.
Yeah. But you're not. Either way, you're not seeing it.
Yeah. But you know what happens. But
Yes,
you
you
know.
know what happens. You don't see it.
Thank God. That would be disturbing. So
I don't want. I do not want to picture how that would work out
I don't.
on a show. I
I
don't even
don't.
want to.
I don't even want
I
to
don't
know.
want to.
Yeah. So, but Legend of Zelda.
There's too many logistics to that.
Yeah. But the Legend of Zelda, you could do that Lord of the Rings style. Because to me, Legend of Zelda is more Lord of the Rings story focused, as opposed to Fire Emblem, which Fire Emblem is more character focused. It's all about the characters and the
Yeah,
scheming and the betrayals and all of that stuff. Legend of Zelda is more story based, where it's the story that
yeah.
guides everything. So, I personally,
Basically, one story. Oh, I was about to say, basically, one story is about the journey, and the other story is about the situations around the people.
yeah, basically. That's why it's the best comparison I can make is Lord of the Rings for Legend of Zelda, Game of Thrones for Fire Emblem.
Yep.
And don't think that Fire Emblem is one of those series that's tame. It really, once again, it ain't. It's just like the whole Wind Waker
You get to the
situation.
inner workings of one of those games. It's
Yeah,
worse than Game of Thrones.
yeah. And like I used to say this about Wind Waker all the time. People was like, "Oh, Wind Waker is just cartoon." I'm like, "Play that game. That's one of the darkest Zelda games." Because when you start getting into the actual story of what went down and what happened, you're like, "How did this get an E10? How?" Because if you go by the story, there ain't no way this should be E10.
If you went by story, it should have been at least teen.
Yeah, at least that, and that's being nice. Because to me, it's darker than Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess ain't that dark to me. It just has like the more mature, misty look. Wind
It's more
Waker's way
gritty.
worse. Yeah, Wind Waker's way worse story wise. The stuff that happens, the kidnappings, the what really happened to Hyrule. I'm like, dude, jeez, like okay, that went that went 360. Y'all pulled the 360 for real on that one. So yeah, I understand that, but I think honestly, if I'm Nintendo, I'm not gonna live action anything in my stable right now. No, everything's gonna get animated. Like if we do a Kid Icarus animated, if anime, now I ain't even gonna go anime. The only thing you can probably get away with is as a cartoon is probably Mario, just because it's Mario.
Yeah, Mario and maybe Splatoon.
Maybe Splatoon, yeah. But even Splatoon, I'd probably throw that anime first, the comedy side
I
animes.
think it would be yeah, I think it would be better as an anime, but I was just saying you
You could
could
get away
pass
with
it
it.
off as a
Yeah. But Legend of Zelda, F Zero, even Metroid, all of that anime first before I even think about live action. Now, I know there have been rumors about Metroid getting a live action film because I remember the first time I heard about it was like 2004 or 5. John Woo was trying to get the rights to it to do it. And I think that would have worked, but then we would have had alien doves. Even though I think that probably would have worked.
it would have worked.
Yeah.
He would have made it work.
He would have made it work. Yeah,
He
they would
made it
have been
work.
doves. We don't know how the doves would have showed up, but they would have showed up.
And Samus would have killed all of them.
Yes, along with the planet. So, but I remember I want to say it was like 2004 or 5 when I heard that, and then that fell through. And then I read somewhere that some studio wanted to do it, and I guess they pitched it to Nintendo, and Nintendo's like, "Oh hell nah." So there's that. Now the problem,
Or it might
Metroid.
have been the same people that did them Resident Evil movies. That's probably why.
Probably, yeah. Now the Metroid is a little bit of a conundrum to me because if you go by Twitter and you go by social media, you would swear Metroid has Halo levels of popularity. If you go by sales numbers, that thing don't that game series don't sell. It's a miracle they get a game on the system when they get one. I love the Metroid Prime trilogy. Things did not sell well. They are highly rated. All three of them, even though I think Echoes wasn't that good. All three of them are highly rated. They're damn near masterpieces, but they don't sell. So especially in the states, they don't sell. But if you listen to social media, you would swear up and down that this is like Halo levels of popularity. And I'm like, nah, not really, bruh. Not really. So I understand
Even though,
why.
even like in the but bad thing is Halo borrowed so much from that series.
And Perfect Dark, we're not gonna get into that. But I, yeah, but I sit there and I'm like, I would love for Metroid to get like a movie, but it would have to be done like the Appleseed movies, the
Yeah.
CG and that CG anime hybrid, especially like Ex Machina. I was like, dude, that's how you need to do it, Ex Machina style. Just do it like that. I think it will work best if they do it like that. I would never do a live action uh Metroid just because let me it's not that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let an American studio do it.
No.
Mm-mm. Well, Jay, why would you not let an American studio do Metroid? Because they are agenda driven. Japan don't care about your agenda. They don't. They tell their story that they gonna tell. They can give a damn about your agenda. As Rising of the Shield Hero, as Goblin Slayer. They don't give a damn about your fucking about your freaking agenda. They don't
Crusades.
care. Yeah, they don't care. Over here, Hollywood, they too agenda driven. They want to check off too many boxes. No, no, and when you read the lore on Metroid, she's basically Frank Castle on steroids. She's Frank Castle if he would have got a super soldier serum and Iron Man suit.
And Super Soldier Serum, Iron Man suit, and additional alien DNA.
Yeah, that's basically what she is. Especially if you go back and play through Metroid Prime, the first one, and you at least 95% it, you'll find out very quickly how she is. She's not a very mentally stable person, and she's not a very she she's a caring person unless you're a space pirate. I'll put it like that. If you're a space pirate, you're dead. There ain't no negotiation. There ain't no talking. There's no pleading. No begging for mercy. She's gonna kill you. Which is
Uh,
why I
she
say which is why I say she's Frank Castle.
she kill everything,
Yeah,
anything walking.
and God forbid really show up.
Ugh, that whole planet, that whole planet gonna be nuked.
it's turning into dust. But if a Hollywood studio get it, they won't do that. They try to give her a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They try to make it. They have too many agendas they try to push, and I don't even. It shouldn't even be like that, because to me the story it's a very simple uh story of revenge, alien style. There's no horror in it. Well, not horror like you think. It's a horror story, but the only horror story is if you're a space pirate. If you're a space pirate, it's a very you're scared out your mind. But if not a space pirate, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna be all right. As long as you get off the planet before she decides
As
to nuke it.
long as you didn't cross her.
Yeah, as long as you get off the planet before she decides to nuke it. I mean, now I will say this: I'm not against the idea of Smash Brothers getting an anime.
Oh, everybody wants that.
That Lincoln Pit fight, it sealed the
No,
deal.
no, 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 not the Link Pit fight, the Link Palutena fight. That's what everybody really wants.
Yeah, because we never saw it. We never got to see it. And the other thing is all the memes that came out of the whole Little Mac and Samus situation,
I
which I
still
still
don't know
think are
how people
funny.
put that together.
Hey, I laugh. I just think it's funny. I think it's funny. I
It's
think it's
funny,
freaking
but I'm
hilarious.
just like, I'm like, that don't make sense
It,
because if you think about it, she could so many ways she could kill him.
yeah,
But okay,
yeah. I don't think she want to kill him though, just by some of the memes.
um, not in the literal sense.
Not in the literal sense. Uh,
He'd be dead afterwards anyway.
he might like it. Who knows? Lil Mac
Until he died.
Lil Mac is known for overcoming the odds.
I think those odds might be too much for him.
Yeah, hey, I mean, hey,
He's got one.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're gonna go on from that. So, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming everywhere but Switch. Thank you, EA. Uh, so we did get a trailer for that one. I think it's. You know what? I didn't get the date. Why did I not get the date before I logged on today? Um, I know it's supposed to be sometime this year. I want to say within the next couple months. Let's see. You know what? They don't have a date down here. Okay, never mind. Um, the Legendary Edition is supposed to come out this year. Sometime it's all three Mass Effect games, including the DLC for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So now I will say this that on the Push Square website, they and on the Nintendo Land website, they did say that uh um BioWare, I mean EA is open to putting it on the Switch. The problem is I'm thinking that they're doing some kind of massive upgrade. No, they're still using Unreal Engine 3.
Hmm.
So why couldn't it be? But I, I'll let it go because it's EA, and apparently they're allergic to money. So
You would think though, if we're just going to go ahead and put it out on everything, why not just take the games as they already were, just include the DLC and put them on the Switch, and then do the upgrades for everybody else?
you would think they would do that.
That's the way you can optimize your money and make the most out of it. But hey,
80 million units and still going strong. So
and
if you allergic to money,
and 530 units of software sold. But hey, let's
I mean,
not.
if you're allergic to money, EA,
530 million, yes. 530 million.
apparently y'all allergic to money. So you and Capcom, y'all stay allergic to money. So I,
Well, at least Capcom put Mega Man 11 on the Switch, though.
I mean, yeah, they'll go put the old stuff on there.
This is what we just asked for, putting the old stuff on the system.
Yeah, because we didn't get it the first time.
Mass Effect,
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic, Jade Empire. You
Bioware
can
had
make a
hits.
lot of money off of all those, but you don't want to, and I don't know why. But it seems to me that they're stupid, and I can't tell them anymore what to do.
Nah, I
They don't want
mean
to listen.
it's it's a weird situation. Once again, this is one of those situations where I'm blaming this solely on the board.
Oh yeah, I will. I
I'm blaming
definitely
this
will
solely
blame
on the
the board.
board. I'm not blaming this on the developers or nothing. I mean, I'm blaming this on the board because if you were actually looking at all the variables, you would have said no. We're actually putting stuff on the Switch.
I mean, look, you can even look back and say Crisis, because Crisis 3 was one running on the Wii U. There's no reason that Crisis 1, 2, and 3 couldn't be put on the Switch. But hey,
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So let us know in the comments what you guys think about the whole Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Are you going to pick it up for anything else and then find out like 2 months later it's coming to Switch next year, next summer? Because that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably exactly what's going to happen. And then they're going to get mad and say that EA doesn't perform well on Switch because people won't buy it. I'm like, no, because they already bought it for the other
they
system
already
that
bought
they
it
had.
everywhere else, so they're not going to get it.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Why would I buy it on the Switch when I already have it on my PS5 or my PC or on my PC gaming rig?
This
So
wouldn't be happening.
yeah, it's once
It
again,
don't make much sense.
yeah, it really doesn't. So moving on to stuff that was canned, um, GoldenEye 007 remake. So I found this one out on PureXbox.com as well. So apparently, back in the early days of the 360, there was supposedly a GoldenEye 007 remake, but it got canned. Now, there's differing reasons as to why it got canned. I'm not going to go into that. But my question is, if it was if it was allowed to go through by the estate and by whoever holds all the varying
I want to say
licenses,
Universal holds a lot of those licenses.
yeah. So if it was allowed, do you think it could have worked and what system should they have put it on? Because I think it probably could have worked, but I
Well,
think they would have came out better putting it on everything instead of just putting it on just Microsoft, just on Xbox. I think they would have came out better, probably making more money if they put it on everything.
they probably would have, but during that time frame, Xbox itself really didn't have a whole lot of exclusives, and that probably would have been a really good pull as an exclusive for Xbox, especially back before we had Daniel Craig as Bond,
Yeah.
and we still Pierce Brosnan was still the actor for Bond.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a bigger pull, and people are going to say it's Nintendo's fault. Like Nintendo didn't own the license to
Yeah.
007,
Mm-mm.
and
They
they didn't have Rare anymore at that point,
yeah.
so they really
And
had no
but
hand in it.
who actually had Rare at the time, and the Stamper Brothers was still there during this time.
Microsoft had them.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too. Like I think people don't realize like the original GoldenEye did not come out when that movie came out. I think it came out
It
in
was
like
well
96
after
or
it.
97. That's like 2 years out. The movie came out in 95. Matter of fact, when that game came out, Tomorrow Never Dies was in theaters.
Yep.
So you can't really. It's not. I can't really even blame that on Nintendo because once again, and going through the article, they didn't even know how many people owned it. Like that's how spread out the Bond licenses are. It's ridiculous how many people you got to go through just to get the OK. So I can
Yep.
only imagine the headache if you're a game developer trying to because you got to get the music, which is done differently from the estate, which is done differently from Universal or MGM or whoever has it, and then if, depending on what story it is, you may actually have to go to Universal, or you may have to go to MGM, depending on what story you're trying to do. it according to the article, I'm like, okay, so that is ridiculous. That is straight up ridiculous. If it's that complicated, you would think that somebody would try to consolidate all that just to make it easy so you can make more money, but nope, they didn't do that. Personally, I'm more of a Perfect Dark fan than I am
Yeah.
Goldeneye. But I will say this Goldeneye was a lot of fun when you had players playing with you. Cause and this is before the days of the internet, so you be in your college dorm room, which I was, and those gameplay sessions went 4 5 hours. Easy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Easy.
Especially if you was playing a game and you had whoever was like the bottom one or bottom two swap off, and somebody else came on. You had a bunch of different people just playing around. Yeah,
And you gave somebody the Mad Catz joystick so you know you could always win.
that's messed up.
What? Hey, look, man, I wasn't
That's
trying to give
messed
up the
up.
stick. Look, I wasn't trying to give up the stick. I wasn't trying to. God dang it.
See, the bad thing is I always handicap myself playing against other people.
Oh no, I cheated. I gave people controllers that was broke on purpose. I did it all. I was evil. I'm not gonna lie. In college, I was evil. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I had two good controllers, and the other two was iffy to say the least. And that's me being nice about it.
They might work.
Yeah. Look, man, Mad Catz controllers was cheap, and they always had drift. Y'all complaining about Joy-Con drift and PS4 DualSense drift and Xbox drift? Nah, you ain't seen drift until you had a Mad Catz controller.
Oh man,
You
no.
have no idea what drift is until you had a Mad Catz controller.
You could barely touch that stick, and that motherfucker would drift for years.
Yeah.
Years.
And it took a while to reset it because you had to damn near manually do it.
Man, Mad Cats is the reason I started learning how to take apart my controllers. They're the reason. I was like, hell nah, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix this thumbstick real quick. I'm not gonna be sitting here. I'm not buying a new one. But I had the money. I'm gonna fix this motherfucker.
And that's pretty much how that went. But yeah, the GoldenEye game was actually pretty good. I still have my 64, and I play it from time to time. It's not bad. It's not a bad game. I just prefer Perfect Dark because Perfect Dark had more options to it. You could practice on Perfect Dark without, you know, you can actually practice with bots on Perfect
Yeah.
Dark. You couldn't do that on GoldenEye. If you played multiplayer, you actually had to have people. Um, that's one thing I miss about a lot of first person shooter games. Like Perfect Dark, and I think there was a couple others. Time Splitters did it too, where you
Yeah,
could actually practice, where you could actually put bots in the thing, so you can run simulation on how you know, so you actually get better.
yeah.
A lot
And
of they
and
don't
on
do that
top of
now.
that, because it was before online, it could make playing on a map feel so much more lively because you could have like 8 bots and 4 people playing. So that's 12 people
Mm-hmm.
running around the map. It made it fun.
In Perfect Dark, I've done that where it would be me and we'd all be on teams, and we'd have at least 5 or 6 bots in there, and we just went like that, and it was fun. Like so, it's one of those situations like that. I kind of wish they bring that back, but that's wishful thinking. Now hopefully, hey, who knows? They might put that back in Perfect Dark, the new one that's not rare is doing. So
That not rare is doing.
yeah. Goddamn Microsoft. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is reported to be coming sooner rather than later. I do not care.
I don't believe it.
That too. um, look, I get it. I understand that it is a nostalgia piece, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I prefer Final Fantasy VIII. I'm just being honest. I
I
prefer
agree.
8. I mean, no, now don't get me wrong. Sephiroth is the better villain, but 8 is clearly the better story.
Yeah, Sephiroth is the better villain, but Squall is the better protagonist.
He is. Yeah, hands down. Um, that being said, my main issues with that game was the fact that I paid thinking that it was gonna be like, I I should not have gotten it, not knowing how they were gonna break it up. When they said it was gonna be episodic, I figured, oh, it was 3 discs. They're probably gonna have 3 to 5 parts. That's normal thinking, right? They didn't say anything, but that's normal thinking. No, it's the first 5 hours of the game spread out over 40. I'm not paying another $60 for another 5 hours. No, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
So, uh, Square Enix, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Until you break down how y'all doing this, I'm not buying another. I'm not buying another one. I'm not.
it's like they did Lord of the Rings extended editions extreme version.
Yeah, but you only get to watch right up to when they leave. The hobbits leave for
Oh man.
where Sam and Frodo leave. Wait, what?
Like
It makes no sense.
I watched this for 20 hours to cover something I could have watched an hour for.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of the things where I'm kind of salty at Square about that because, and I should have known better. I should have known better. I should have waited until they said how the breakdown was. They did not. I
They
bought the
weren't
first.
going to.
Yeah, I bought the first episode because I'm like, I'm a nostalgia fan. I would love to see how they do this. When I realized it was only the first 5 hours, I'm like, this is some bull.
And then they show Sephiroth so much in that
Yeah,
game, and you really, if you're playing the original,
you don't see
you
him.
don't see him until you are 10 hours into that game.
They treated him in the original. They treated him like Godzilla in the first
Yes.
Godzilla movie. Like you kept hearing whispers, but you didn't see a damn thing till you get to damn near the second disc.
Yeah, you didn't see him until the first time you see him is right before you leave Midgard. Right before you leave. Because he
That is
kills
right
the
here.
president of Shimra.
Yeah,
Right
Mm.
before you leave. And then he's gone just as quickly as he showed up.
yeah. So I don't get it. So Shadow, quick little review. Uh, I hate Mizusune from Monster Hunter Rise, and
That was not part of what we was just talking about.
I just feel like I had to say it. But we gave a little quick little, and I want to get your thoughts on this one because you are a fan of the Legend of Zelda, as am I. The
Yes, I am.
the canceling of the Netflix show due to leaks allegedly. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Uh, I don't know if I really have an opinion on that. Like, Nintendo pulls stuff for all kind of reasons, and we don't even know whether it was even gonna be good at this point because we don't know if they partnered with somebody else and Nintendo just licensed the project or if it was something that Nintendo did internally. Um, but I'm more inclined to believe it was something that Nintendo did internally because I think they put Star Fox along with that leak too, didn't they? It was
Yeah,
like a Star Fox anime,
no, it wasn't
Claymation.
anime. It was claymation.
Claymation.
claymation. Okay,
That's why
which
I'm
would have
like,
been great too. But
no, that would have been bad.
you think so? You don't think what's name would have done it justice
First of all, first of all,
if Seth Green did it?
first of all, if you give me that 15 minutes of greatness for that Star Fox Zero, and then you tell me I got to look at Robot Chicken, I'm going to be pissed. Don't get me wrong, I like Robot Chicken.
I think they could detail it like instead of because you've seen some of the stuff that they did where it's not Robot Chicken,
Yeah.
and they build like really good replicas like for like presidents and stuff like that or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So they have the talent to do it. Robot Chicken just looks sloppy because that's
That's
intentional.
how that's how they're supposed to do it. But I'm just saying, like you gave me 15 minutes of greatness with production IG.
Yeah,
That's what I want. I don't want Will Vinton. I want production IG.
I get it.
I don't want Wallace and Gromit. I want production IG.
Yeah, anyway, and it's so great for certain properties. I fell in love with Damon X Machina intro as well. That's just I don't know how to feel about this because it could have been if it's
Right.
a live action Zelda could have been every bit as good as The Witcher. We don't know. There's no way to really tell, or it could have been horrible. And Nintendo said, let's cut our losses while we're at it." So
I'm thinking because, and this is what I told Andre for Legend of Zelda, because yeah, I'm a fan. You're a fan, but the casual Netflix binge audience don't care. It's kind of like the Marvel movies.
yeah,
Everybody loves all 23 of them, but they don't read the comics. So
yeah, it
they
depends on
constantly
your
asking us
implementation.
questions. Yeah,
Because well, two things that we're seeing good from Disney right now is
goddamn one.
Mandalorian
Goddamn one.
and WandaVision. So it's just if they do it in that way, like say, hey, take different takes from the universe episodically, and there's enough to satisfy. Hey, you're the nerd that
It knows.
follows all this, and hey, you're the person that knows nothing about this. Um, Here's little pieces to it. I think I have children doing Saturday Night Slam Masters upstairs or Fire Pro, one of the two. It's amazing. Dad's at large. But anyway,
Wait till AEW games drop.
yeah. But once you see what Disney is doing, like it just makes all the sense in the world for everybody else to follow in the same steps. Like it doesn't have to be, hey, this is a sequel to Star Wars, or hey, this is just do a real good type of story in that environment. Like I would be perfectly fine if you did a Legend of Zelda game where if Link shows up, it's only because the main character walked by him or something like second person type
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And because we all know Link is the hero, so why even focus on him if you want to focus on the lore and the environment and get people that don't know anything about Zelda to get into it. And then once you see, like Zelda become a nuclear weapon somewhere that's just happening somewhere, and you're like, what was that? Like,
and,
kind of situation.
See a
and it's
big
not like
purple smoke cloud.
and it's not like Legend of Zelda doesn't have 80 gabillion stories they can damn do. That ain't my problem. My problem is I think honestly, just to be honest, I think that it will probably work better animated because the reason why I say it work better animated, you don't have to get an A-list actor, which in live action you got to have at least one A-lister because if you don't, you got to have somebody that's going to draw.
But if you do the animation, then I think at that point, then you're going to be required to do a story about the main characters. Though I think at that point you would have to.
You can. Well, my thing was first season should actually be probably if I'm thinking right. If I'm doing the first season, I'm either doing Skyward Sword or Ocarina of Time. And if I'm doing Ocarina of Time, I'm doing two animated seasons. One as child, one as adult,
Mm-hmm.
and see where it goes. Now the thing is the reason why I say animes because I let one of them anime studio houses do it, like Production IG or Studio Parole or Gonzo or one of them do it, or hell, even Ghibli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them do it.
Man, but you gotta spend some money to get them on.
Well, Ghibli, you have to. I don't
Yeah.
think because I don't know if like they would do that because Nintendo's pretty well loved in Japan. I don't think they'd be like, oh yeah, we're gonna charge you $85 billion for one season. They ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, that'll be reasonable, but still, that'll be a high production.
Yeah, but that's what you would
Yeah,
want.
but
You kind
live action, you still have to worry about CG, and there's going to
yeah,
be a lot of CG elements.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to, or it's gonna look stupid.
So either way, you got to pay a lot of money
Yeah,
because
either
you're
way
gonna
it
pay for the
goes.
high quality animation. Then
Yeah, and it's gonna come out to being probably just as much as if you had to go get probably even it'll probably come out less because you don't have to pay whoever you get to play Ganon or whoever you get to play Zelda's rate. Because
yeah,
once again, they're not going to get. They'll probably get like an unknown for a few characters, but you got to get somebody that's going to draw. And once again, if they decide to get Samuel L. Jackson to play Ganondorf, we're probably going to be in a situation. So, I mean,
No, man. Look, Samuel Jackson cannot be Ganondorf. He has to be a shopkeeper. He has to be a
yeah,
shopkeeper.
yep.
Gives Link the supplies.
Actually,
I have a
actually,
whole, I have a whole thing I want to do for that would be funny as hell, and I still have to write it out. But
have
he
him be
has to
the
be a shopkeeper.
have him be
what
the
do you
happy mask
buy?
salesman. No, have him be the happy mask salesman. That'd be
No,
hilarious.
no,
That'd be hilarious.
no, because no, you gotta use Miyamoto for that, because the character
Yeah,
looks just like him.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, you got it. You got that. But I just think it would be ironic if
But I
you
mean,
have
look,
Sam Jackson.
if he's like the shopkeeper slash informant for stuff going on, that would be perfect role for him in the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I can see that happen. But I mean, that's one of those things that I think probably them canceling probably was a good idea, honestly, because one, we don't know who the story was going to be. We don't know what studio was working with it, and I don't trust Hollywood. So
No.
I would prefer a Japanese studio do it. I just don't trust Hollywood. I just don't. Um, like they are too feeling themselves right now. So I don't trust them to actually stick to the story. I trust them to try to do something that's probably going to be not uh, true to the characters.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh, it definitely wouldn't be true to the characters, especially since most of them don't know anything about this story.
No,
yeah,
they don't, and
Yeah.
they're not going to do the
They would try to
research.
turn it into Peter Pan, even though there's some similarities. It's
but
not the
it's not.
same.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not going to do the due diligence. They're not going to, have Ioma-san as a reference for being a content
Nope.
director or anything like that. That's not going to happen. They're going to want to take over the whole thing
Mhm.
and just pay Nintendo for the license, and they're going to create some crap.
Dragon Ball
Probably
Evolution.
not as bad as Super Mario Brothers, but
Dragon it's gonna be as bad as
Dragon
Dragon
Ball
Ball Evolution.
Evolution
It'll be
or Street
that.
Fighter: The Legend of Chun Li.
Yep. and,
I
and
mean, it could be as bad as Double Dragon. Double Dragon was kind of
Oh,
pretty
but
horrible.
glad you remind me of that.
Hey, Shadow, and you got to get the greatest movie writer of all time, Simon Kinberg, to write it.
Oh. My life.
Yeah.
My life.
So on that note, let's talk about so Mario got their 35th collection, last year.
Yeah.
This year is Zelda's and Metroid's, but I don't think Metroid's getting anything. But
Metro don't get nothing.
yeah,
They need a
Zelda.
game for that to happen.
Yeah, Zelda is getting theirs. So my last question of the night is: what games would you put in the Zelda 35th collection? And you only get 4. So what games would you put in?
It's weird because Virtual Console has resold these games so much, and GameCube had a collection, had 2 collections actually.
Yep.
I don't know how you do this. The only other thing I could think of is there's a Ocarina of Time remake, Ocarina of Time HD instead of 3D.
Yep.
That will also go with the Twilight Princess HD. I mean, not Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask HD.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, me personally, because I'm old school, like legit, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2.
That's
Zelda
it.
1, Zelda 1, Zelda 2,
Okay.
and like HD,
Uh,
but
the
I still
Ocarina.
want them to be their appropriate 3/4 and side scrolling
Okay.
um varieties. I would not want to basically how Link's Awakening was, but it doesn't have to look as cartoony.
It's cartoony.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I think those would be appropriate. Um,
So your
Zelda
four.
2 is a dark game, and a lot of people haven't played that. So
Yeah. That's true. So your four is Ocarina, Majora, and 1 and 2.
yeah, I would prefer if there was a way to do it. The preferred way to do it would be because that's kind of what Mario All Stars did. So you do a Legend of Zelda All Stars, which would be a remake of 1 and 2 and Link to the Past. Um, and then you do a 3D remake, which would be Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And if you want to throw in, if you want, well, there was already Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, so there's no reason to really go back to those. So
Yeah.
to me, it would be those 5 games, but that'll be stretching one. But
Okay.
I do think Ocarina of Time definitely needs to be revisited in HD, and the first 3 do too. So
Okay. Andre, what about you?
He already said everything I was going to say because I was going to say the first one, definitely Zelda 2, and A Link to the Past definitely would need a remake.
Link to the
And
Past is probably still my favorite Zelda game. Still,
and
probably.
you could easily slip Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time together
On the
as
same
like a
Yeah,
cartridge.
on
package.
the
Yeah.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
because it's the same engine, same game, basically just rearranged assets.
It could
Yeah.
really just be the second quest
Mm.
because the second quest didn't go away until A Link to the Past. So the
Yeah.
first 2 games had second quests.
All right.
And on top of that, Master Quest from Ocarina of Time. So
Yep.
Well, okay. Mine would honestly be Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask remakes, but I would probably put the Wind Waker and um, Twilight Princess in. And the reason why I'm not putting 1, 2, or A Link to the Past in, not because they're not good, they're great games. The
Hmm.
problem is when Ocarina of Time onward, the main console games all follow the same time. They all follow the same timeline. It's when you try to
mhm.
add all these other games in that when the timeline gets crazy.
Yeah,
But if you
Minish
start,
Cap and all that.
yeah, when you start at Ocarina of Time, the timeline makes sense. If you go Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, uh, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, it makes sense. If you try to put in 1, 2, Link to the Past, minus Cap, Oracle of Ages, or it doesn't make any sense. It
So
goes
one
all
and
over the
two,
place.
one and two are the Rise of Ganon.
That,
Uh,
that's what happens if Link actually gets killed.
yes,
Like
and
it's like a what if. One and
yeah,
two is basically a what if.
but Link to the Past, I don't know where
A
that
Link to the Past actually
belongs
falls in that timeline too. It's
in that
before one
same
and two.
timeline too.
Yeah,
So that would be several years before the Link that dies in Zelda 1. Is that what
yeah,
I'm? Okay.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you start with that, that's why I'm like, look, I like those games. Don't get me wrong, but that's before Nintendo actually had a realized
Yeah,
that. Oh,
cohesive.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right before they realized, hey, we actually have a cohesive storyline. We actually do this right. They started that with Ocarina. That's why if you go back and play Ocarina of Time, you ain't even got 100% it. But if you just
Yeah.
run around with the Shikai mask on as a kid and talk to all them gossip stones, you'll see all the plot threads from anything they want to make for the next at least 10, 20 games.
Yeah.
They have, and I'm talking about side stories and everything because the gossip stones lay out so much stuff. Like I'm sitting here really wanting them to do that freaking Sheikah game where we find out who betrayed the Sheikah to the
Oh,
royal
everybody's been
to
wanting
the
that.
royal family.
I bet they're related to Impa.
They probably are more than
Oh
likely.
yeah, they are.
I would love to see the game with about the Bongo Bongo and how he got trapped in the bottom of that damn well and why the the Sheikah had to trap him down there because they couldn't kill him.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that game. There's a lot of stuff that happened in that game that they can we always talk about like, okay, should they do spinoffs? I'm like, actually, Legend of Zelda is set up to do spinoffs.
It's doing spinoffs
Yeah,
already. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, but I'm talking about spinoffs where you ain't even got to bring up Link and Zelda at all.
yeah,
Like everybody wants to have like, oh, we want a strong woman to be in Legend of Zelda. I'm like, look,
yeah,
the
but
Legend of Zelda story is centers around courage, wisdom, and power. It centers around Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. You can't change that. I know you may want to. You can't really change that. And before anybody say anything, um, if you have a problem with me saying that, but if I ask you why can't Link be black, you start saying why am I bringing up race? You don't get the point. You don't
yeah.
get the point. So
So their whole situation, the way I see it is every one of those side stories, to include the Netflix or Disney special, should end in all three of them battling at some point.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, well, the main stuff with Link, it should always end with them three fighting. Now, if you want to do a side story, you ain't got to worry about it. Matter of fact, the way I would set up a lot of these side stories is have it where you have Link, where you have Zelda telling Link the story. You do the actual game or series or TV show or whatever, and then at the end of it, she
she
closes the
finished
book.
talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I would do that. The side stories. But it's the actual. If you're talking about the actual series, and you already know how I would end it, have Ganondorf, Link, and Zelda have to team up to fight Demise,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh
who is
yeah.
secretly Samuel Jackson.
I was thinking do something kind of similar to like how Skyward Sword did, and but actually show what happens. You don't have to play as Zelda, but you can play as Impa. What did she do to get
Oh, you talking about
everything
the part?
set in place?
You talking about
Emperor
the
was
part that got
hopping.
cut? The
Yeah,
part that they was actually trying to do,
Yeah,
but actually got cut.
Emperor was hopping over barriers. I have no understanding how she got through half of those things the way she did.
yeah, because she was old then. She
Um,
wasn't strong Impa.
uh, Andre, it's called Ninja Magic.
Yeah, yeah, she can still do all that stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where you're like, okay, the stuff that they had to cut, like Twilight Princess. People don't realize in Twilight Princess there is a whole section of the game where you're supposed to be a Sheik that they had to cut due to time constraints. It's actually if you picked up any of the Hyrule Historia books, it's in there.
Yeah,
They had to cut some stuff out of Skyward Sword where you actually got to play as Impa and Zelda, but they had to cut it due to time constraints.
they've been wanting to do it for so long.
Yeah, so it's not like they haven't been trying, and I hate when people pretend like they haven't. I'm like, do y'all not are y'all not paying attention to the story? Do you not understand how freaking strong Zelda is? Like Link
Nuclear
ain't
weapon.
crap.
Like
Link
well,
ain't crap.
I beat the game what last year, a year ago. I beat the game a year ago, and I was severely disappointed. I was just like, so the whole time you could have that frustrates me so much. But I mean, it
But
is what it is.
but
So
story wise, nobody ever remembers Link. So you want Zelda to be the hero, so nobody can remember her?
yeah,
I'm like that doesn't. If you're following the story, they know Zelda, they know Ganondorf, they don't know Link, and which probably for good reason because if anybody found out Link was alive, somebody was gonna kill him.
yeah,
Somebody was just gonna straight up kill him as a baby because
Well, that was the whole purpose of Ocarina of Time was to explain that.
yeah, like the main reason why his mom had to get him out of that castle was because
yeah,
they
yeah.
came.
You're a dead man.
Yeah, they came, and she dies. And once again, like if you read the manga for uh Ocarina of Time, they actually show her get shot. She got shot in the back, so she got mortally wounded. And in the game, they say it, they don't show it. That's why I'm like, if I was doing a show on Legend of Zelda, I would look at that manga and just do an anime for it. Look at the Ocarina of Time manga and just do it based off that. Because
Mm.
that's what 13 episodes, easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you get, like I said, you get 2 seasons out of it because you do child and then you do adult. That's 2 seasons, 13, 10 episodes. Because the adult side is goes a little bit faster than the child
Yeah.
side does. So there's that. That's why I'm like, I'm so conflicted about the Netflix stuff because one, I don't want Hollywood touching none of Nintendo stuff unless it's Pixar or Illumination, because and that's only the first movie because we know how Illumination does on sequels.
Yeah,
Pixar
I think Pixar would take too long because they would want to be so accurate.
take 10 years to do one movie.
Yeah,
You like
that might be a 10-year project for real.
yeah. Now I would give Pixar no, I wouldn't give them that. Never mind. I changed my mind. But yeah, I get that, but I would rather a Japanese studio handle Nintendo's projects personally.
I give Pixar Pikmin.
Yeah, you can give him Pikmin.
I think they make a decent story out of that. Even though Pikmin is decidedly Japanese,
Yeah.
I think they could Americanize it. I think they
Yeah.
can make that work.
It's gonna be a lot of Sunny Delight product placement, but yeah.
Yeah. And Duracell batteries.
And Duracell batteries. Energizer gonna be so pissed that they didn't get the contract. But yeah, that's just me. I mean, hey, so guys that are watching or listening, why don't you put in the comments which series or franchise you think would work, and would it work better as live action or as an animated feature for Nintendo? Please do not say F-Zero needs to be live action Fast and Furious. Please don't do that.
Oh God, no.
Because Vin Diesel will be in
put that idea out there.
I can see Vin Diesel as Captain Falcon.
No.
Didn't we already get Death Race? We know how bad it can get.
Don't even say it. Don't.
What, you ain't ready for family?
We know how bad that can get already.
Look, we already made this joke with Mario Kart. We don't need to do this with F-Zero. We don't.
I'm just saying, man. When they show that trailer like they did for
Captain Falcon.
Hey, when they show that trailer,
if Vin Diesel was going to be any character, he'd be Samurai Gora.
No, he wouldn't, man. He got to talk about family, dude. So he got to be Captain Falcon.
Okay, Samurai Gora has a big gang of followers that dress exactly like him and do everything the same way as him.
No, but it got to be about family. He got to be about family. He has to do this Triple X stuff, even though he's like in his 50s.
I mean, it would kind of make sense as Fast and Furious is going into space now.
And probably going to cross over with the Transformers and the Avengers.
Yeah.
At some point.
I could see Vin Diesel with a metal arm clawing down the side of a Decepticon.
with the Rock being getting into a fist fight with Starscream.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Wait a minute. Did the
This
Rock
is a writer's nightmare.
No,
but they would do it.
But
the Fast and the Furious team would do it.
Hey, Fast and Furious would do that in a heartbeat. They would do that in a heartbeat, and it will make $1 billion because everybody go see it. I ain't gonna lie.
Chain link cars out the window of a building. Like,
bruh, The Rock grabbed a torpedo and turned it around and threw it at a tank. Bruh, that's all he needs to do. Dude.
They have reached video game levels. They are there.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know why they didn't think of this already. I'm waiting for Fast and Furious 11 where they team up with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Fast and Furious.
Is this the one where Vin Diesel could beat up Wonder Woman? Is that
No, and then it's Fast and Furious 13 where they take on the Dark Phoenix, written by Simon Kinberg.
That's about right.
Written by Simon Kinberg.
I think we need to call it quits here because you're going off the handles on that one.
Fast and Furious is that bad though. Like it
is, but
it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, that's the one movie you can go to a black theater for on your first visit just because you need it. You need the commentary because you ain't watching that sane. You need the commentary.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious and fun. So
it was just too many thoughts hit my head that just no.
And half of them are going to be in Fast and Furious 9. So,
and then repeated in 21.
Yep. But okay, people, that does it for this episode of the Wingin' It podcast. Thank you for coming to our TED Times Talk. We do appreciate it. Andre, anything you want to final thoughts?
Yeah. Whoever's doing Fast and the Furious, please do not listen to any of that. Not at all. I'd love that to just not happen.
But if it happened, would you be surprised?
No.
No.
No. At this point, he's probably waiting for Godzilla and King Kong to show up. And Tywin Lannister.
And for Voltron to fall out the sky and kill Godzilla and King Kong at the same time.
I would watch that.
Yeah. But like too many thoughts. Too many thoughts. Look, if you just want a nonsense story, I could throw together one in 5 minutes, and Fast and the Furious would be at the center of it.
And you will make $285 million off of it because Vin Diesel would buy it. All you gotta do is put in their family.
It's all about family.
Man.
But just go to check my channel out because my train of thought just went with all of that. I have nothing to say. Just leave it at that.
All right, Shadow.
Oh man. So yeah, this is my second week again confirming that my channel is not dead. So stand by whenever I press upload. It's in Final Cut. I just have to press upload, and I refuse to do it. I don't know why.
You won't hit the nuke button.
I won't hit the nuke button. I have this thing where I record a video, and I'm like, is this needed now? And then I'm like, probably not. And then I just go on to the next video, and I'm like, is this needed now? And probably not. And then I go on to the next one. I'm probably about 6 videos deep right now of ones that I just chose not to upload. But I have 2, I think, that are good enough that are actually relevant right now still, because there's a lot of them that were time sensitive, and there's no point in me releasing those now. So, but I should be able to upload those soon. So stay tuned, and at some point I'll figure out how to stream. So we'll go from there.
Gotcha. All right, so I did put up some gameplay of Yeast 9, Monstrum Nox, available on the PS4 right now, PS4, PS5. It is coming to PC and Switch in the summer of this year. At least that's what Falcom has stated. But yeah, you can check out the first 22 minutes of the game up on the gaming channel. Do have a Let's Talk coming up, that same Bayonetta 3 Let's Talk that I haven't put out because I didn't like the audio on it, so I had to redo it. And I am going to be testing my live streaming capability. I'm going to see if this works. I really do need to upgrade my laptop, but I'm going to see if this, because I've been holding off on it for too long, so I'm going to see if this works. Hopefully it works. We'll see. So don't be surprised if you are, if you get a notification that basically says I'm live, it's probably because I'm running a test. So just be on the lookout for that. Also, if you have not subscribed to the Geek Life Gaming channel, please go over and do so. Link is in the description, because that's probably where I'll be doing most of the live streams from now on. When I do them, I'm going to try to do at least one a week. I'll let you know on Twitter and on Twitter before I go live, whichever day I decide to do it. So there's just that. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I did not realize that today was the 50th episode.
Wow.
So
awesome. Look at that.
Yeah. We'll do something later. Yeah, we'll do something later. For that.
Halfway to 100.
Yeah. We'll do something probably around 100. But if you liked it, thank you. Please press the like, share, subscribe, let all your friends and family know if you like our content. Come back next week for more comedy and hilarity from our TED Talk too. Electric Boogaloo. So, I say that to say this: love, peace, and soul. Peace out, people.
Peace, everybody.